This is a Lotus Esprit, and I've just found some impressive crash damage and repair to the front. Almost all of the work was done to the top side of the car with just a quick gloss over, a huge cut line and some cracks in the driver's side wheel well underneath. It looks pretty gnarly, but I'm not going to tell you I'm going to fix it, because in a sense it's not broken, but it can definitely be made better. Tools needed? Cojones, tissue and glue. Glue. Okie dokie, we're going in to the space behind the front wing. But there is no wing, the body is literally two parts, so front of the top clam. There is a route though, in behind the headlamp well, but it's blocked by a bracket that holds the headlamp motor. That has to come out anyway, for a spruce up and to replace the rusty fasteners. And it looks like it could be lighter, but enough of that. Here's the top side of that would-be join, the wheel well in the bottom clam, or the inner wing if you don't know your boring cars to Lotus cars lingo conversions. The plan is to stick something in here to bridge the gap so that when I fiberglass the outside of the area, the mat and resin don't just fall through the hole. And you thought I was joking about tissue? Well, here it is. It's just super fine chop strand mat. Generally used to give a less coarse finish, but I'm going to use it almost like tape to bridge the cut in the bodywork. I've never worked with it before, so to get a feel for how it works, I'm going to apply it to the outside of the damaged areas on the foremost body mounts so that I can repair the damage properly from the inside and have something to lay heavier mat up against. There's a couple of small cavities in the fiberglass here, possibly where the air was trapped, or maybe a piece just chipped out. So I've also got this other stuff. It's called Fiberglass Strand Sprinkly Sticks. It's just to help keep the resin together within the cavities and hopefully add a little strength. I'm really glad that I did that because I quickly found if you overwork this tissue mat, it starts to bunch up. So I got a bit of a clump in one of the mounts. It's inconsequential, but a great bit of learning. trying to leave you in the mellow as long as I can, but there are a few things to know here. I'm preparing to glue this flappy section down, not necessarily for strength, but so that it's not moving when I come to fiberglass over the area. So I've keyed it underneath and drilled a hole for a screw to hold it down once I brush some resin into the gap. I've propped it open to make sure all of the acetone I'm wiping everything down with evaporates, because if any of it lingers, it'll prevent the resin from curing. Best practice, they say, is leave the workpiece for at least a few minutes after applying acetone to give it drying time. I'm brushing the resin in here by feel, and it's not ideal. And hopefully I don't make a meal of the back of the wheel well. Okay, no more, I promise. Because that's the end of my spiel. Seriously though, I made a mess here, and I was covered in resin. I had to change my gloves twice. I got the tissue in pretty well though, and laid a bit of 450 gram chop strand mat on top of it. The open section of tissue didn't get wetted out, and that was better because it would have become unmanageable had it been full of resin. Just a note on preparing chop strand mat for a repair: you tear it into shape for repairs, oh dear, so that the edges feather. It allows a scarf joint like this to blend into the wider fiberglass and be more smooth. There's a small belly in this, but there needs to be, to allow some material that can be flatted back. The repair went well, like really well, although I'd never opt to try and cover that many sections in one sitting again. I broke a sweat trying to stay ahead of the resin going off. It was a lot of work, but I wasn't about to stop there and decided that while I waited for the repair to cure, I would tackle the big job of repairing the rest of the underbody. I need it clean so I know I haven't missed all of the other little places it's going to need a lick of resin or reinforced filler. What you don't yet realise is you've unwittingly stumbled into a strip joint. I hope you've got your dollar books ready to stuff into my undies. And by that I mean check out the link to support options in the description. Oh, you want to stuff dollar books into my undies? Ew. That's the tie-down anchor for the spare wheel. I was going to refurbish it, but the threads are a little ropey. I might have to stainless steel it. Anyway, that'll do us. I'm flying it. So little to do and so much time. She's pretty in pink though, isn't she? I want to polish it, but the lads say I'll break through the gel coat in too many places now that I've sanded it. You might have noticed I sanded the driver's side floor pan, but mainly scraped and stripped the passenger side to try and leave as much material as possible. They won't let me lacquer it either, say that paint is the only way. I don't want to paint it, but we'll see. And if I do, it'll be in the same 70's commode, the soft underbelly of me little beastie. I'll be back at it soon as this drops. There's a little more stripping to do, really not looking forward to the wheel wells, they're full of bitumen. Lots of baby repairs to do too, not to mention fettling the big one. And then I'll be topside for the big strip. Stick around. Like, subscribe, find that Patreon link, and to my new patrons Tools and Track, David Platt, Hugh Matthews, Christopher Caldes, and to Richard Gosling and Rob Chapman for renewing their vows. Thanks gents. Until next time, stay stuck in and good luck.